Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the MNJ podcast, where we give you business insights, what's happening in Zimbabwe, Zambia, and of course, we are mainly focusing on businesses in Africa. And today, I'm joined by Takudzwa Chorwa. Taku, how are you?
I'm well, Gordon. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure. And now we are in July. How was your June?
Well, we are still in the race. It's a cold month, it's a cold season, but at the same time, we do not really stop in our vision of building timeless businesses in Africa. It's a struggle, but definitely we'll reach our vision, would definitely build timeless businesses in Africa.
Definitely. Now, still on that subject of building more businesses, I've realized that many companies, this time and age, there's a trend of expanding. Everyone wants to grow big. They want to go, maybe it's from Harare, they will now want to open another branch in Bulawayo, or maybe it's international. But there's always that something that happens, and most of the businesses, when they expand, they fail. What might be some of the reasons why they fail?
Thank you so much, Gordon, for that question. So it's a high appetite that is out there. Every entrepreneur, his or her dream is to expand, is to grow the business. But one aspect that I've seen a lot is most of us, we then get to expand without really building proper systems. So what happens, growth magnifies chaos. Right. So you see, when you are small, you can actually get to run everything through memory. You can actually run your business on WhatsApp. You can also run even on paper. But then when you expand now, you then now see those stock transfers is now guesswork. You see those missed invoices, leakages within cash handling. A lot of things are now happening. So with growth, doesn't really say you are expanding problems, but it really exposes what you didn't do when you were actually small. So without then getting to expand first, it's better to really consolidate everything, build proper systems, put in place controls, and a system that is going to help you to then get to manage your business when you grow and when you expand.
All right, very, very insightful. Now, over the past 10 years of building timeless businesses, I understand that you have worked with different clients, and I know that you might have a practical example. Maybe you can just filter some names. Maybe if you can just give us an example of pure expansion without a system.
Definitely. I had this one client of mine, and he actually goes to this one Pentecostal church. Right. And after Papa has actually declared that, you know what, you're going to expand. It's a year of expansion. Yes. And guess what? He said, you know what, I have this inside me. And even after advising the client, you know what, the current foundation that is there is not really allowing you to expand. Yes, the demand is there. You can actually make it. But let's start then by building the foundation. Let's put software systems that are going to help you then manage when you expand. But you know what? People with their faith, and Papa had declared within a year, 4 branches were opened across the country. And he was actually also then inquiring about registering in Zambia as well. But within 18 months, he actually came back and said, no, Taku, I'm stressed. And I was, why are you stressed when things are actually moving? We are seeing on social media, you're actually giving testimonies at church that you are expanding. But then that really brought a lot of chaos within the organization. You had actually one branch manager who was actually then conniving with the employees, stealing a lot of funds. And by the time when he realized it was then too late. So we had to actually go back to the drawing board. But you know what? Then making corrective measures sometimes is really painful, and you'd have actually lost a lot of money.
Yes. Now I understand that it's very sad situation, but maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
In order for one to then think of expanding, there's a certain element of growth that you might have seen in your business. Can we really say that expansion is only linked to big companies, and they can only fail without a system, or any small company that tries to expand without a system can also fail?
Anyone really can actually fail, but the difference now that you get to see with a big organization, these big organization, they can actually get to afford to throw out funds towards problems. If they've got $1 million problem, they are willing even to spend $1 million to solve that problem. They have time for meetings. They can call 5, 10 board meetings to just solve a problem. But the pain is muchly felt to the small to medium enterprises, where probably you are looking at, you don't have the luxury to be calling 10 meetings to solve a problem. You don't have even the funds then to be throwing towards solving a problem or a challenge. So to avoid that now, it's now critical for us to say, when you are now actually small, that's the right time to build a strong and well-established systems, softwares that you can actually invest in. It's not a matter that probably you need to invest in huge softwares or what, but we are moving in a technological era where you cannot be physically present everywhere. So by then laying out the foundation before you expand, you're then going to eliminate all those challenges that you then start seeing when you expand without proper systems in place.
Wow, definitely. Now in this day and age, we have systems, ERP systems that are working for many companies, the likes of Odoo. How can one implement such a system, and how does it fix this problem?
Yeah, thank you so much. So you get to see that one thing that systems are going to really solve in terms of your business, you tend to then create a consolidated platform where you can actually get to manage everything easily. You cannot be everywhere, like what I said,
Yes.
or you cannot then create silos where each and every department, be it computerized or manual system, they have got their own system that they are using. And you tend to depend more on people to be giving you information. But my question now is, can you really trust the information that you are getting from your employees? Can you really trust the information that is being generated out of chaos to make informed decisions? So in most cases, you get to see that as entrepreneurs, we end up even making emotional decisions, but not logical decisions.
Yes.
Because we don't even have a tool that is feeding us with the right data, with the right statistics for us to make decisions. So, you know what? With these ERP softwares that are coming in, even with the likes of Odoo, like what you have mentioned, they're actually scalable. To say you can actually start with what is critical. You're adding functionalities as you grow. We really need softwares and systems that can grow with us, because you look at the environment that we are operating with. Number one, we really need a system that is scalable. There's no point for you to invest in a system that is probably, say, cheap for now, but probably in the next 2-3 months down the line, with the growth or the expansion that you would want to do with your business, it's no longer sustaining that growth, and you now need to be investing in another system. So you need a system that is scalable. You also need a solution that is highly flexible to be following the dynamics that will be changing within your operations.
Right. Very, very, very insightful there. But maybe we might have some entrepreneurs here in Africa who are very much used to writing things in a journal. They prefer storing their information on a phone, or maybe it's Excel. They term it very safe. What's the cost of an entrepreneur not having an ERP system?
Okay, that's a good question. So you get to see now in terms of the cost. In most cases, as business owners, you end up yourself so much deep into operations.
Right.
You then leave your seat as the visionary of an organization. You get it? You are supposed to be thinking strategically. You are supposed to then be making those strategic decisions. But you no longer have time for that. Because you're now deep into operations. You're scared that if you're not there, if we remove you today, is your business going to then prosper? If we are to remove you today, are your operations going to stop? So because you know it very well that you don't have proper systems, so you're forced to be deep into operations. And the impact, you don't feel it now, because if we do not have a leader out there, up there, right? Yes, we cannot see it in the first day, 1 week, 1 month, but definitely within 6 months, a year, definitely we'll start seeing that there is a seat that is vacant, which is not being occupied by someone who is supposed to be occupying it, because there's no one who is now driving the ship. Any changes that are going to happen, they'll caught you by surprise, because you're not even aware, you're not even analyzing things. And secondly, you look at right, some people, they can argue that we'll be saving money, we cannot be affording to be investing in a system. But definitely, if you then get to sit down, you're losing actually even a lot more than what you're saving, because employees are always employees. They can actually get to form a team.
Yes.
And definitely on a daily basis, you're paying them indirectly. And at the end of the month, again, you give them a bonus for stealing from you. So the cost is actually huge. And you won't even get to feel, again, the list is endless. Imagine someone who's going to do an error, invoicing error, probably debtors, you're not even tracking them, and you're now in a dispute how much you're being owed by a client on, and the client is actually disputing that figure. So the list is endless. You can actually lose a lot more than just probably investing in a system now.
Wow, very insightful. That must just leave me to thank you for coming here, Taku. But before we go, maybe there's an entrepreneur right now who's watching us and they've been thinking about expanding. What's your advice to them?
Thank you so much, Golden. To our viewers out there, I know definitely it's our dream. Everyone wants to expand. But what I'm actually then saying, in short, is expansion or business growth in Africa should not be a platform for us to then create a lot of chaos, but it should be an opportunity for us to expand and increase our profits. But we can only get to achieve that if we make the critical decision now, if we make the right decision now of investing in proper systems. Don't allow yourself to be then held hostage by your company or by your business. Invest in the systems that are going to run the business on your behalf. And definitely once everything is done, you can actually expand, and the sky is no longer the limit, because we can actually go beyond the sky.
Definitely. The sky is not the limit, and we are aiming to build timeless businesses across Africa. Thank you very much, Tiago, for joining me on this episode. I hope to see you next time again.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure, and I can't wait for the next episode.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, for your patience. Now, remember, before we go, subscribe, like, comment with what you think about this podcast and what else you want us to talk about. Until we meet again,